Greeting, traveler.
I have no time for games.
The end is coming! Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
You require my assistance? Adios! We're gonna be rich.
I have no time for games.
Inferno! You require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday. You know what that means. Yes, it once again means we are more than halfway through the week, and that is worth celebrating. Don't get me wrong. But it also means it's time for another episode of Tavern Talk, the show where we talk about all of THL's series, everything coming up for the week, and all the shenanigans that are going to ensue. Of course, I am one of your hosts, JR Juggerlaw. Tonight, we've got a nice, wonderful cast. Of course, we've got my two usual co-hosts. First up, he's not an actual doctor, but he is genuinely part fish. Say hello to Dr. Fish.
Going on, everybody? Excited for got some. We're in playoffs mode for most series, which is awesome. Super.
AKA Hype. Next up, he's who I like to refer to as the Hearthstone Encyclopedia. He is arguably having the best season of any THL player, period, this week. I'm sorry, this season. Say hello to always just in time.
Heat Shock or Neji would like some words about that title, but I'll take it.
But
I
they're
guess.
not here to object, so that's the problem.
Okay,
that's
that is true.
the thing you
Heat
gotta
Shock
have.
was here last week. You say about that about all your
Both
guests
of them have
each
guessed.
week?
Both of them have
Oh,
guessed.
like,
Have
I'll have to
guessed it
go
on the
check the
show.
VODs.
Well, in my defense, vote of some confidence lost last week. We'll talk about that. And I don't think Heat Shock Was he
He's
playing in
shocked
Legacy?
it's
I'm trying to
not
remember.
No, Shock's not playing Legacy. He's playing Pro.
No, so I don't really. So don't get me wrong. Shock's amazing. He's one of my faves. I think he's one of the best players in THL. But in terms of how his season has performed, I mean, I think you top him.
He's still having a good. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
obviously.
I'm carrying in Legacy, and then I made the wise decision to have Turtle on my team in Hero. So
True. Very wise decision.
That is fair. That is pretty fair. And lastly, our guest for tonight, we needed somebody to both add some handsomeness to this group because none of us have any
Absolutely.
handsomeness to us. And we also needed to add somebody who happens to have a very nice knowledge and familiarity with Wild. So say hello to Sunday.
Hello, I'm Sunday. I know wild things, but I'm here. We're having
Accurate,
a
though.
good time.
Accurate statement right there.
Oh yeah, and I'm ready to discuss
All right,
how
so-
my team's gonna win.
Yes.
I was going to say, so we're going to be doing things a little bit differently tonight because obviously we've got a bit of a, things are a bit of an interesting place. We're going to save the Legacy Finals. Are we saving that for last or no?
Yes. That is last.
Okay. That's what I thought. So we're going to be we're going to be doing things a little bit differently since Wild is at its quarterfinals, Pro Series has its last week, and the Hero and Legacy are the closest to being like at the end. We are going to save Hero and Legacy for last, and we're going to start off with Wild and Pro. So a bit of a reverse order, but at the same time, who cares? I'm sure CMAC in the chat is thinking about that right now.
Order lol.
Order
Anyhow.
lol.
It's wrong
Alright.
order though.
I don't know.
It's usually last.
With CMAC, a lot of things are possible, and I mean that in nothing but a good way. So we're going to start off with the Wild quarterfinals. Now, as you guys know, we mentioned this last week. Wild had 14 teams, and it was narrowed down to 8 playoff teams. So 6 teams have been eliminated.
Yes.
We now 4 teams, the top 4 teams from each conference
Nah.
advanced.
It
So
was
there's actually
top
there's
three,
top 3 from each conference, and
and
then
then 2 buys.
2 wild cards.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And but
Never mind.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's not hugely different, but that's also pretty reasonable. I can get behind that.
It also just so happened that the 4th place for each conferences were the teams with the vote.
I was gonna
Nice.
say that's more than likely going to happen.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna transition and we're gonna quickly look at at some brackets that we have. I unfortunately did not get a bracket from JR or Justin. I know Justin doesn't talk all too much about Wild, but I did get Sunday's bracket. In fact, thank you to you, sir, for making this bracket
Copied
because
it, pays for
because
pays.
I took his bracket and I made it mine because I actually have the exact same pick.
Oh yeah.
So the only toss up is
I'll
Viridian
be honest.
and
I'll tell
everyone.
you who I think is going to win each.
Sure.
If it like, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
what are the semifinals matches going to be as far as the winners of each?
Well,
Because I'm guessing with the first match we have, it's like the 1 versus 4 or the 2 versus 3.
The 1 versus 8.
1
So
versus
it's
8.
seeded where.
Oh, sorry.
at the end of
1
the
versus
last
8. That's what I
overall,
mean.
The last overall faces the top overall. So in case we were the top overall, and then Hair Club was the bottom overall, so we get to face them second week in a row.
Tragedy.
This is gonna be rough, but I'm actually looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
And then I think the 2 versus the 7 is Bash Bros 2 Electric Boogaloo versus F2L Viridian.
Boogie.
The 3 versus the 6 is a Noyo team versus the Entertainers, and then the 4 and 5 are gonna be Hey Loser versus Seas of Cheese. I believe that's how all the
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think F2L Viridian is definitely going to make it into the finals. Everyone's a winner. I mean, this is hard because I'll be honest, Sunday, I really want to pick your team. I really do. But there is a big part of me that also wants F2L to win 2 seasons in a row. I don't know.
we did beat F2L.
Yeah, they smoked
did beat
F2L.
F2L.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna agree with the finals, but I'm not gonna say who I think is gonna win because I don't wanna jinx anything, and I
Sounds
don't
good.
necessarily
stream.
feel
Yeah.
so confident one way or the other.
Yeah. We'll have to.
Plus, I think you guys might have a tough time playing against Hey Loser because that's the team with Memnarch and Rami, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, losers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Loser's very good. They have some very solid players.
All right. Well, let's get right to the matches themselves. We're going to start off with F2L Viridian versus Bash Bros 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Have a scuffed. Okay.
Oh, what happened?
So scuffs.
Oh, snap.
I did properly. Um. Um. I'm sorry. This is not good on me to do. Situated. To talk. We can talk about the match, and then I will put the match on screen.
You want me to talk
Well,
about
it's
it,
your
man?
match, so
Yeah. So we have
That's not
F12
mine.
Viridian versus Bash Bros. I have the match on my screen for So I'm gonna this a very scuffed way. We can actually gonna. But all right, match 1: F12 Viridian versus Bash Bros 2. We have Corbett versus Rice Bowl, Neji Boston versus Jailstorm, Marty B versus Mr. Python, Rotted Zombie versus Anubinator, Itachi versus.
So I think this one might be a little close, but I'm still gonna think F2L gets this one. You have some very solid people on the side of Bash Bros. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot of the names because I know there are a lot of standard THL players gone wild.
well, that's the thing actually, because the only players here who play outside of Wild are Rice Bowl and Mr. Python,
Oh, so
Huh?
Jailstorm, Noob, and Reverb are
right?
Yeah,
I have not seen Jailstorm,
Jailstorm's
Illuminator, or Reverb outside of Wild.
Jailstorm is a lot.
okay. Then I might be just out of it, but
That's all
I
right.
still
No, I mean
I
it's
s-
hard to keep track.
I still think F2L takes this one. Corbett obviously is having a monster season. He's 8-1. He's being dominant. So I think he still gets to win over Rice Bowl, who's also a very good player. Neji Boston, I think it's more of a toss up there. I know Jailstorm from what I've seen with his stats, he's a very solid player. Neji is 7-2, but when you actually look at his game store, it's a lot it's a lot less.
It's
apparent. It's a lot of very close.
he's won or lost 3 every week of the.
Yeah,
That's
so
And when you look
insane.
when you look at his PAR, well, the true indicator of unbiased indicator of success, you'll see
XW.
he's not even in the top 10 nor the honorable mentions.
no,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah, no, he's 25 and 20.
Shenanigans.
that is shenanigans.
25 and 20 in game record. So it's a little shaky, but I still think he might have a slight edge. In the 3, Marty B versus Mr. Python. I know both of them are very good players. I've Python's on my friends list, and I've seen him almost always top like 100 snares. So I know he's a very good player. But I think Marty B, with the amount of prep and knowledge he usually puts into this kind of thing, I think he still gets to win.
Mhm.
Rada Zombie having a little bit of an off season, think still he gets the win. And then Itachi versus Reverb. Itachi's not having that great of a season in Wild, but I think this one's more of a toss-up coin flip kind of match where either or can win.
Mhm.
It's kind of just dependent on who brings the better decks, I guess.
I can see that.
Hmm. I think you make some good points. I mean, at this point, F2L is a fierce monster of a team. We clearly that goes without saying. So it's really just a question of how likely is it that a team like Bash Bros, who has some solid players across the board and are doing pretty well for themselves, but still only finished 4-4-1. Is this is this an upset that they can pull off?
And I'm gonna say this as well. This is 4-4-1 and probably the weakest conference, or not probably, definitely the weakest conference out of
Wasn't
both
Bash
of these
Bros was Bash
conferences.
Bros in green?
Bash Bros was in brown.
Okay.
Bash Bros, I think, yeah. So each game except for everyone's a winner versus Hair Club, and then Hey Loser versus Caesar Cheese is cross conference.
Yeah.
There's 4 from each.
Mhm.
So I think, and especially since F2L Viridian lost last week, they lost to the Entertainers 14-12, which was pretty close.
Right.
That's why I'm thinking that this one, it's gonna be a little tight, but I still think F2L is just good enough where they're just gonna win. So
I think that's pretty reasonable. I think at this point, those are kind of the main points we wanted to hit on. So I think we should move on The second match we got here is going to be courtesy of our boy Sunday. Everyone's a winner versus Hair Club.
This is my team versus a very, very good 8 seed team that should not have been an 8 seed. But
Team is
kind of based
nutty.
on how these like how the conferences formatted themselves and how low of a
Based
start
on,
that Hair Club got.
I believe the technical term would
should-
be based on how the Keith numbers fell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
It should
got
it should also be noted that this is let me just double check something. This is the only match. Yes, that I thought so. This is the only match out of the 4 playoff matches that has no players from THL outside of Wild.
correct.
Everybody here only plays in Wild.
So in this match
that's
we
weird.
have 6J versus Burnt. We got Battle Tagger versus Keith Numbers, myself versus Otters, Absolute versus White Delight, and Hazer versus Concerned Mom. So these are, if you pay attention to the Wild scene at all, these are a lot of very good players. I mean, 6J is having a phenomenal season. He's 9-0. He's undefeated. He's dominating everyone. Um, Tagger ended up taking second place at the Wild Grand Tournament that was last week. Hazer actually took fourth in that one too. Absolute very good player. And then on the other, and then myself, which I'm not good, but I like to. Other people think I am. On the other side, we have Burnt, who's a very solid top contender. Keith Numbers, if you ever tune into his streams,
Yeah.
they're a lot of fun. He
He's
always
really-
does viewer deck requests and that kind of thing. And he's just good. He ended, I think, top 25 this past season, if I remember correctly. Otters, absolutely a dominant player. He goes all 3 servers. He doesn't play China, but he almost hits legend on all 3 servers. So he's a very good player, high legend grinder. White Delight, very good player. Concerned Mom likes to mess around, but I mean, he's just good.
Her mom's also good.
This is going to be a very close matchup overall.
So
Yeah, looking at the numbers now, 6 players out of the 10 involved in this series ended top 200 last month in February in the Wild Americas leaderboard. 3 on each team. So
Yeah.
obviously tournament's a bit different from ladder, but there's clearly some
Yeah.
talented people here.
There are some very, very talented people on this list. So in terms, at least from what I can see, I think we're gonna probably win this one. Totally not biased, by the way, but I think we're gonna win this. But it's gonna be
Totally.
another close one. It's kind of the same. It's the gist of, okay, these are 2 very good teams. One that had a very slow start to the season, and they just beat us. Um, so it's going to be close. I think 6J still gets to win. I think he's going undefeated 10-0 so far. Tagger probably gets the win over Keith Numbers. I know both of them are very good players. But Keith was the only person that lost on their team last week, and I'm going to kind of give that towards him. I think I'm going to lose to Otters. I want to win, but Otters is insane, and that's going to be a very close match at least. And I got swept by him last week, unfortunately. Absolute versus White Delight. I'm going to give a slight edge to my teammate. I know how much prep he's put into this week, but I'm not going to say more than that. So I think he's going to get there. And then Hazer's going to get the win versus Mom, I believe. So, but I think it's still going to be close. Like, it's going to be a lot of 3-2s in the case.
You said close, just like last week, but they beat you 17-7.
They did beat us 17-7. It was mainly some lineup issues from our side. But I think we're better prepared for this week. So, and
I mean,
that's all.
many very good teams lose in huge margins to a team in the final week of regular season and go on to beat them first round of playoffs, like a certain.
That totally didn't happen last week.
Oh yeah,
team.
we're here for that. We're it's the mental aspect we're playing here. We're playing 10-head chess.
Yeah.
Justin, I can't tell what you're referring to, but it seems pretty entertaining, I will say.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's all I think.
I'm excited for this one because
Yeah,
like
this is gonna be a good one.
I think
because I was gonna say everyone's a winner. You guys were the 1 seed or no?
We were guaranteed the 1 seed coming into this week.
Right. You guys are the only team that's 8-1. You objectively have the best record. You guys are looking like the team to beat, and that's despite the fact that I think it's pretty fair to say there was a lot of like craziness going on this season as far as like teams fighting for that top spot,
Oh yeah.
right?
Well, it was until our match versus F12 Viridian, it was kind of close.
Right.
And
That's what
then
I
as soon
figured.
as we took down F2L, and it just kind of was like, yeah, we're just gonna keep winning.
Well, that what really surprises me is the fact that despite the fact that there are several teams that finished 7-2, you guys still had quite a point margin over everybody else.
Yep, 20. I
Yeah.
think it was like 20 points per week or something
Yeah, it
up
was a
until
lot.
this week when we lost.
Well, F2L was 15 points behind you. Then a Noyo team was 10 points behind them.
I mean,
So
they averaged more than a 4-1 each week, at least going in the last week of the regular season. I don't know if
Right.
it persisted.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think we had
They weren't
teams
just
It's
winning.
nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I guess while we have you here on this topic, put you on the spot. Which team are you most afraid of? You think could end this banner season?
Hair Club.
This one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hair Club.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they're the hardest.
I
team.
agree.
By far, I think they're the
Alright.
hardest team.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, they got off to a slow start. I think F12 Viridian is very good, but we prepare. We know how to prepare against F12 Viridian. Hair Club is a little bit trickier, and I think a lot of their team is a sleeper in a sense. Like they're the 8 seed, but I think, and honestly, they should have been the 3 seed coming into this.
Ooh.
I think they're one of the best teams.
Stirring up the pot.
Okay. Well,
Who was your only loss in the regular season though?
It was last
Hair
week to
Club.
them, to Hair
then
Club.
last
It was
week.
last week.
Oh. That's right. Holy crap.
Yeah.
But it was at a point where we were guaranteed. I think F12 Viridian had to like completely team sweep Entertainers, and we had to just completely die in order for us to lose our 1 seed. I
Well,
think that was like
right.
how it was, and I was just like, yeah, we're
there's no
keeping
one.
1 seed. So we were,
All right.
we were pretty comfy into coming in.
Well, either way, you the fact that you think you guys could still lose to them again says a lot. So
No, we're gonna win, but it's gonna be close.
we'll
I
see.
think they're still the hardest team to beat.
Well, on that note, let's move on to match number 3, the Entertainers versus a Noyo team. This one I'm very intrigued by because the Entertainers are 5-4, but they still got a pretty respectable amount of points for that record. Um, I only recognize No Way H from Pro, and Cherub, of course, plays in Legacy and Hero, I believe. Pretty solid player. I think and then of course you've got a Noyo team, which is made up of several people you probably recognize: Mad at Arms, To Win, MTG Squirrel, Slate, and of course Mike V being the captain of them. A Noyo team came in second place last season, and they're definitely looking to make that run again. And so far, they're doing a really good job. They've really performed very well. They're coming into this in the 3 seed, so I feel pretty good about their chances. But of course, the Entertainers, like I said, strong team. Their records, they've got Upset King has only been playing for like 1 week or so. But who knows? Maybe this is like I can't help but think there's going to be at least one upset from this series. Like, you look at the 4 teams that are kind of predicted to win, that you kind of expect them to win, like Hey Loser, F2L, Viridian, a Noyo team, and everyone's a winner, sure. But who knows? Maybe there is going to be a big upset. I wouldn't put it past any of these matches.
This one, I think this one's gonna be. I think this is gonna be the closest out of all. I said the other 2 matches were close. I think this one's gonna be the closest, and I think it's gonna come down to whether the bottom 3 seeds from Entertainers can pick up the slack versus the top 2 seeds from the Noyo team. Because I think in the one you got Quake Lord, who is an exceptional player, versus MTG Squirrel. I think Quake Lord's gonna get that one. Yo Daddy versus Dewin. I know Dewin's a very good player, but he sometimes brings some weirder lineups, and it's the predictability can be there in order to like build a counter lineup against him. So
Hmm.
I think Yo Daddy has the ability to win, but I think that one's going to be like a 3-2 at like a 3-2. It's not going to be sweep or 3-1. Slight versus No Way. I know No Way ended top 10 in the America server last year or last season, not last year. But Slight's insane. He's such a good player, and I think the records kind of show that as well. So I'm gonna give the edge to Slight here. I think he gets that one. Bone Masher versus Charup. Nothing against Charup, but if Bone Masher's insane. I gotta give it to
Bone
him.
Mashers.
And then Mad at Arms versus Upset King. I wish I had no more info on Upset King, because he just came in as a sub for Vapod 1. So unfortunately, I don't have as much information. But I know Mad at Arms is a really good player, so I think Mad at Arms is gonna get this one. So it's gonna come down to the Entertainers' top 2 seeds are gonna get it, but I think the bottom 3 might fall out, and it ends up being in favor of a Noyo team in the end.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through it now. I did not know this. This was not my perception as kind of an outsider looking at Wild Series. But do you know who on February Wild America's Ladder, which were the 2 top finishing players among people in THL Wild Series? Because they both play for the Entertainers. It was
That's Quake Lord.
No Way.
No Way.
Yep, and finishing 5 and 13 respectively. So in terms of sheer power level on this team. That
Quake
seems
Lord's
pretty
just
impressive.
insane. He's such a good player. I'm not as confident as in No Way's conquest ability. I mean, given his record, I mean, if you finish top 5 in year 4 and 4, it's I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of conquest can be.
Though.
A lot of conquest can be as well the amount of effort you're putting into each week, prepping for opponents and stuff like that. So there's some players who maybe they're good on ladder, but they don't have time to put into it for conquest. Or it can be the reverse that hey, they had a string of bad or unlucky results in conquest due to not playing the time, but hey, playoffs is on. I'm gonna flip the switch. I'm gonna do my homework this week and suddenly start churning out. So
now, one of the reasons why his record's a little lower is up until I think last week where he brought ETC Warrior, he brought Odd Warrior every week, and he got countered on that quite a few times. So there's a lot of predictability in that sense. Like, okay, he's gonna bring either Odd Warrior, he's gonna bring some form of Warrior every week. I can counter that. So that's why I think Slight probably is gonna be winning this one, and I think it's gonna be a close one with the Noyo team getting there.
Yeah.
And I should actually mention one more thing. Entertainers is on a hot streak too. They have won, I think, the last like 3 weeks. They just kind of carried their way into playoffs from being like a non-contender to okay, we made playoffs and it's pretty convincingly too. Beating out F2L last week. So yeah, that's another thing to note.
Yeah.
I still think a Noyo team gets there.
I think Anoyo. Anoyo is such a good team. Especially adding Bone Masher. Bone Masher 3-0. Like, I mean, this team still got 149 points. They still wrapped up the top brown seed team. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but yeah, like if Bone Masher was playing all season, this team would be a bit higher up in potentially.
Probably, I would assume. I think Mad at Arms and Bone Masher came in for Bat Missile and Mike V. I think those were the replacements.
Mad at Arms came in for Mike, and Bone Masher came in for Bat
I think came in for somebody else.
Yeah, Bat Missile.
Yep. So yeah, this is gonna be a good one too. All these matches are gonna be really good.
Yeah, really. And last but not least, we of course have Hey Loser versus Seas of Cheese.
Yeah, so one match actually already in on this, as you can see on screen. Rami knocking off Slad in 5 games. Grandmaster, by the way. But I was interested about this because this is the only match. This is the only match with deckless in for Wild Series. So looking at the pair of 4 lists they each brought, there is no overlap in any of the archetypes brought, which is I don't know how common that is in Wild, but looking through other weeks, I mean, it happens sometimes. I'm not sure about the relative frequency to Standard, but it certainly doesn't happen very often in Standard. So 4 unique decks for each player, and I guess Rami got the better of them this time.
Oh yeah, There's a lot. The thing with Wild is there's so many different archetypes you can do. Warlock, you got Reno Lock or Dark Glare Warlock. Big Priest and Priest, you got Big Priest or Raza. Rogue, there's Odd and Kingsbane, and Druid, you can do some form of aggro kind of with like the token kind of strategy, or you just go Malygos Druid and combo your opponents, or you could go Jade
Well,
Druid. Like there's so much flexibility with
Yeah.
those kinds
Well,
of
that's the
decks.
thing. I don't think there's necessarily. I think there is flexibility, but I think it's in a different way because
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like there are a ton of decks you can play per class. But it also seems like almost every class has at least 2 decks that you can really like make work. It doesn't seem like Legacy or Hero or Pro, where there's always going to be some classes you know will rarely, if ever, be brought because of how the meta shifts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I mean, there's classes in Wild too that are obviously not broad as much. Those are going to be your demon hunters, your
Yeah.
hunters, and then shaman.
Right.
You think even shaman's good? Nah, it's
Nah.
real bad right
It
now.
was at one point.
It
Yeah,
was
it
real good
was.
at one
It
point,
was,
but it's
but then
real bad right now.
But then Flame Tongue went to.
Yeah, I brought this
I
up
find
on.
it. I find it funny that Shaman fell off a lot in both Standard and Wild this season.
It's just not having
Yeah.
a good time this
Sham-
season.
Shaman was insane in standard for like half for like the first few weeks, but then the nerfs came in.
And then the
Bog,
shift happened.
But then Bog Spine Knuckles nerf happened.
And then the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah. And it's cool because like Shaman, I know that Big Shaman has been a deck that has been played in the past in Wild with Ancestors Calling and big stuff, and that's a
Oh,
cool
yeah.
deck. But it's just not as popular. Like
You're just outclassed by Big Priest.
Yeah,
Like
Big-
if you're gonna
Big
bring a
Priest is
big deck,
nuts.
bring Big Priest. It's just
Big Priest.
it does everything better.
Oh,
But
on a deck. If you want a deck to
get
get me to tilt on ladder, it's that.
Yeah,
deck.
so I'm gonna let's go through the matches here. So we got obviously
Sure.
we had the Rami versus Slod here.
Yeah.
Rami is continuing off a really good season too. He's 8-1, winning 3-2. So it was a little closer, but he got there in the end.
Yeah.
And up in the 2 we have Memnarch versus Lemur.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give give the edge to Memnarch on this one. I know how good of a player he can be. I know
Yep.
Lemurs they have the same record, but in terms of overall Wild experience in the high level, Memnarch has way more. And I think with that he can probably just get over and win.
Yeah.
In the 3, Roni versus Siege. I don't unfortunately know a lot about Roni. But he's having a solid season from what the stats can say. Siege, I know, is also a very good player. So I think this one can go fairly 50-50. Skittles versus Scritch. Skittles is just good, and I think he'll probably get there. I know he's another one of those standard players going to Wild too. He's having an okay season. It's nothing crazy, but I think he'll get there in the end. And then in the 5, we got Pasca versus Blue Sombrero. Pasca finished off a sweep of Tom last week, so he's coming off of a good win. I think this one's going to be a little closer though versus Blue Sombrero. It's probably going to be a coin flip there.
The only thing disappointing about the series is that the captains are not facing each other.
Yeah. There's-
Yeah.
I would love to see that one.
To note, Pasca did come in. I can't remember the player that dropped out, unfortunately, but somebody did drop out, and Pasca hopped in. his
Oh,
place.
Well, he's still been playing most of the season though, so
Yeah, he still has been playing most of the season.
Was it Fajoran?
No, he was on our team.
Oh, he was on your
that's,
team. Oh,
That's
that's right.
Hazer replaced him.
Hazer
Yeah,
replaced
so-
him. That's right. Yeah. I don't remember who
Yeah.
played on Halo prior. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I would say check week 1 and see what happened. See who's there.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah,
It was Clone, I believe.
it was fun.
Ah, that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I remember Clone was stepping
But
back from.
I still think the 1 and 2 here are going to carry for Hey Loser. Memnarch's insane. Rami already got a win. And the rest of the players on Hey Loser, I think, are going to go win.
Yeah.
Cheese of Cheese is actually running off of kind of a bad loss streak. They started the season really good.
Yeah.
They were looking like favorites to contend us, and then they just kind of
Slowly but
went down.
surely dropped down. They went.
they
They were
dropped
4-0
down and they
to 4-4, and then got a win in the final week.
and to I think it was against was it against Ghost of Fell Screams?
It might have been against Ghost of Fell. I
It
don't
might
know.
have been against Ghost of Fell. No, it wasn't. They
No.
were facing.
Oh, was it Mad?
They were facing. Bash Bros 2 Electric
Bash
Boogaloo. They
Bros 2.
barely got in. They won 13-12.
Ooh.
So yeah, they
Yeah.
barely edged in. They were just like teetering. Like if they lost this week badly, they're not making playoffs. And I
No.
think that
It was only a
would've
2-3,
gotten
but their 2 victories were sweeps, giving them the overall.
Yeah, I
match.
remember
Yeah.
that. That was talked about last night on Hearth Center. Yeah.
But I think this one, I think Hey Loser's going to get there pretty convincing. They've had some shaky losses. Hey Loser took a loss to Mad Scientists a couple weeks ago, which is one of the teams that unfortunately did not make it. But this week they beat up on on the Hyperlink team of our favorite Hyperlink team, 20-5. So they had a very convincing win to get themselves right into playoffs and locked in as the number 4. So I think they'll get that one pretty convincingly.
Awesome. I mean, I agree. I think Hey Loser is definitely like. I mean, they're a strong team. Memnarch, I see Memnarch constantly in the top 20 of Wild Ladder. But he also has a lot of. He also has played. I would assume both of the prior THL Wild season 1 and the Alpha. And he's just insane. He's very knowledgeable about the game from getting to cast with him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is going to be good. I think this is going to be an exciting one. Wild in general is looking great. I'm excited to see how all of these matches play out next week. But
Looking forward to it.
we have
Yeah.
unfortunately we have to move on.
Yeah.
So with all that said, let's talk about Pro Series. Now, just to go on a quick preamble, I'm excited for Pro playoffs, but I will admit it's a little weird seeing how things are not close. Like things are not close. Like as far as like the overall point totals are pretty close. Don't get me wrong, but I think people will notice if they look at the pro standings, the top 8 is mostly locked up. There is room for change, but it's mostly like it's pretty unlikely at this point. We're looking at 4 teams that are already locked in, more or less, and then we've got like especially if you look at Pink Conference, all 4 of the teams, the seeding for that is very up in the air for the top 4, but I don't see a scenario where any of those 4 teams don't make it.
Yeah. So I actually have pictures. Let me
I mean, I don't really want us to go into a whole thing about it because I think
Oh.
we're just going to speak about the matches. But I just think it's worth
Or
noting.
I mean, we're
like,
talking about the most
for
important
each
matches.
conference. Yeah, we're going to talk about the ones that have the most impacts. Like at this point, though, right now both conferences are in a very similar position. Though the top 4 is mostly locked in. There's basically one team in each conference that is fighting for that spot in the top 4. Like they're in 5th. And funny enough, both teams are 12 points behind the team in 4th place. So let's see what happens. All right, let's start off with the first pro match that we'll be talking about, which is
F12 versus Sheepies. We're gonna start with 2 Pink Conference matches, and
Yep.
so
Right.
this is an important match because it can determine seeding, between who will be the 1 seed and then our 2 seed. There's a couple of things up in the air for who could be out of this. This match is really exciting. We have Rescue Wabbit versus Always Lethal in the upper C. We've got Berserk versus Cyan Sheepies 2. We've got Chain Magician versus Mikos in the 3. Ariana 20 versus Azonix in the 4. And Snake versus 11 and Me 5C. We have classes for Berserk and Cyan Sheepies. Not pulled up, but we do have them.
Yeah, so it is Berserk on Highlander Mage, Broom Paladin, World Kick Rogue, and Bomb Warrior with the Rattle Vortex. Whereas Science Sheepies has C-Mac's favorite deck, Tick Block, Highlander Druid, Highlander Priest, and Bomb Warrior. So to me, from Science Sheepies, that seems like a rather I guess, Enrage Warrior, Control Warrior lineup, but unfortunately for him, his opponent didn't bring it this week. Though, I mean, people have won on Masters Tour qualifiers with lists like that too, so they're definitely all viable meta decks. There's nothing crazy hard to.
That's fair.
But and then the other matchup that I think is actually came in newer than the image shown on stream, but Ariana 20 has submitted. So she is on Highlander Priest, Silas OTK Warrior, Kick Rogue, and Broom Pally. It's a similar list to Berserk. Going up
She has brought some interesting choices this week.
World Kick Rogue, Zoo, Broom Pally, and another Highlander Priest. So decks,
Well,
3 out of 4 mirrored between in that match there. Only difference being the Zoo
well, that seems.
Silas OTK.
I gotta say, Sheepies were a team that I definitely had on my radar, but they really they really played above expectations here. You know,
Yeah, they're playing. They've
I'm
been,
glad to see that this team is really doing well.
and they're all sharing the load with 4 people having 6 or 5 wins. Obviously, F2L also have people with 6 wins and 4 wins. Their records are all very similar, which just a sign of a very and a team. And those teams are the ones like in the long term, not just in like regular week, but when you get into playoffs.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, not too much up for grabs in this one because both teams, I think they're locked either somewhere 1 through 3. I guess one of them could slip to 4. But I mean, seeding's fun. It's fun to have the number 1 next to your name going into it.
Yeah.
Though I think none of these will have the 1. I think it will definitely be for the boys.
Oh no.
and
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. Once they'll be the number 1
Automatically.
overall seed probably.
Yeah, but For the Boys has locked it.
No, they're locked in for the 1 seed, but we're going to see if we'll see who wins it all.
That is true.
Because
Yeah.
I definitely believe in For the Boys, but I mean, if we look at what happened last season, it's clearly anybody's game.
Didn't Hyper Horizon come in as the 1 last season?
Yeah,
and win it all?
Hype Horizon.
I was
Hype
gonna say,
Horizon
yeah.
got the 1. Yeah, For the Boys was not. I think.
It was close though. It was very close.
Yeah.
Or wait, or no. 4 of the Boys did get the 1, didn't they? Because they were still undefeated at that point, I thought. Or were they not?
I thought they lost.
Diamond will correct me on this because
I'm sure he will. Diamond will.
Yeah.
But I think F2L will end up taking this.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They got the 1.
Like Chain Magician. Oh, that's right. I think For the Boys played Hyper Horizon when they were kind of like doing when they had like a Masters tour or some tournament happening where they kind of were they were kind of more focused on that than THL, which is obviously. But in this match, I think Wabbit and Berserk's match are all very interesting. I would give the 3, and it's just gonna come down to like the if Rescue Wabbit and Berserk or one of them plus either Ariana or Snake taking the match.
Yeah, I don't know. These are all very hard to call in my eyes. I think they're all going to be pretty close, personally. F2L obviously did quite a bit of changes with Rescue Wabbit. With like only 2 of these players have won a championship with F2L before, but they've continued to prove that even when their roster changes, they're extremely consistent. This if barring a disaster, if F2L makes playoffs, they will have made playoffs in every single series.
Yeah,
that is insane.
And it starts at the top with Bobson and Marty, how they prep their teams.
4 series, 4th tiebreaker, 4 playoffs.
Oh my gosh! Sunday and I know the pain of that.
Barely.
Almost
got there.
One game win. I didn't get swept a couple of times.
I tried.
You did. You carried what I couldn't.
Painfully close.
Yeah, it was painfully close. All right.
Anyways, I think that's enough about that.
It is enough. Yeah, next match.
We got the next one that's going to be pretty relevant. Tap Washers versus ATK attack mode.
Right, son.
Now, obviously, attack mode is out. They've got a very. I love this team. Strong roster.
Yeah.
They gave it a good go, but unfortunately, they are out of it. Flamekiller 9-0 though. My God.
This is
also
nuts.
When you look at ATK mode's roster at the top, you in the bottom, it's oof. You got Flamekiller 9-0.
Yeah.
You have You have Robbie in for the second week. Okay, okay. Some 5 seed these past 2 weeks in THL had a fun day when they've gotten
Yep.
Some
Ryan
random
Master
5
clubbed in
seed
against
they
them.
added.
This week it is Corbin himself, the goat. Phil Smith,
Yeah.
the misfortune of
Yeah.
maybe getting slapped around a little. But
Now, Tap Washers are unfortunately 12 points behind both Sheepies and Popeye's spicy chicken sandwiches. They need to pass one of them in order to make playoffs, and it's doable, but oh god, is it going to be hard. They're
Yeah.
really going to need to hope that either F2L dominates Sheepies or that Popeye's chicken sandwiches gets wrecked by who are they playing this week?
They're playing Corrupted Clown Fiesta.
Popeyes is playing Corrupted
Oh,
Clown.
right, that's the next match we're talking about. That's right. Okay. So, yeah, this one's going to be interesting because I mean, attack mode, I look at this on one hand, like you could definitely get a big win, but 3 of their players are going to be very tough at the very least. So
Yeah.
I am not sure what to
Yeah,
make of that.
I mean, it's last week of the season. They call it sweep week, and that's because I guess that's what Tap Washers needs in this case. And it's
Yeah, they
not
do.
easy to sweep your opponents when Flamekiller and Rami are two of them.
Yeah, and Brian's having an
Yeah,
outstanding season.
They're not gonna stop playing.
No.
We do have listen for one of the matches. C-Mac
Cool.
on
Yeah.
Gibberling Druid, Enrage Warrior, a Ramp Pally still, Scam Pally, and World Kicker Rogue going up against the Bomb Warrior, Treant Druid with like Goru the Might Tree.
Oh,
Always love that
nice.
card.
Yeah.
Ooh, we
Oh,
haven't seen
yeah.
that in a while.
The Steel Dancer version of Weapon Rogue, and lastly it is Broom Paladin from his opponent
Yeah.
there.
From Necra.
Mm.
She's having a rough one, but she's a really good overall player.
Oh, okay. I think I remember seeing this. I think this is a rollover from a few weeks ago, hence the outdated version of
Oh,
some of these
gotcha.
lists. But I mean, they were. It's
shall
probably
see.
not scraping every last percentage from the bottom of the barrel, but it's a small sample size, one series. Even if you can make a 1%, 2% tuning to a deck, that's huge on ladder over sample size of hundreds
Yeah.
of games. That's an higher tier. But one series is probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Agreed.
Fair.
C-Mac in the chat saying playing in 10 minutes, so we may know the
All
result
right. Well,
of that before the end.
good luck, C. All right. Let's
Good luck,
get a.
Mr. C-Mac.
Let us get a.
I'm very curious as to
Good luck,
how this is going to play out because Tap Washers are basically banking on several key like upsets to happen in order to the good news is they've got 2 matches that could potentially have upsets and really benefit them, but 12 points is not an easy margin to catch up to. So
Yeah.
I think the concise way of saying it would be a good luck, C-Mac. Your team will need it.
Yes, that is
that's
true.
also the C-Mac way of saying it. So I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. C-Mac, where's your tick
Anyways.
lock, man?
Oh yeah, true.
He's saving that for
Anyways.
Hero.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's saving it for Hero. All right, so we're gonna move to our next match, and this one also has potential implications on the playoffs, depending on how
Right. Well,
depending
this
on how
one is
For the
different
Boys
because it
does
has
it.
like this one's weird because this one what's interesting is that we basically picked the 2 matches that are going to be very relevant as far as playoff seeding, and then the 2 matches that are going to be very relevant as far as potentially deciding who makes playoffs and who doesn't. So
Yeah.
the Tap Washers versus ATK mode is obviously like, all right, Tap Washers are trying to make playoffs, ATK mode can't. We'll see if this ends up what kind of impact this has. Now we've got Yasharge's Clown College versus Hyper Horizon, and both of these teams are
I believe
basically
on,
locked.
not to interject, on stream it's showing For the Boys
Yeah.
versus the
I
Unknown.
screwed up. Yeah, I screwed up the order.
Okay.
No. I've
Okay,
got
Okay,
it up.
go
I've
on,
got
Joe.
I've got Yasharaj's up.
Okay. So we've got both of these teams are pretty much locked for playoffs at this point. If the unknown makes a kind of big perfect week, that might change, but I think it's unlikely. But both of these teams just need a decent amount of points and they'll be fine. That's basically what it comes down to. But really the big thing they're fighting for is playoff seeding because both of these teams are really fighting for that. Whoever wins this is most likely going to come in second for the Black Conference. So that's going to be pretty important as far as who they play next. I
Mhm.
think that both these teams are doing extremely well right now. Yasharja's Clown College made up of Nails, Celis Luna, Valera, Neji Boston, Lumble. That's quite a roster they've got right
Yeah,
there. And
four
then, of course, you've
four.
got Hyper Horizon, who came in completely unchanged from last season, the defending champions. Just a fantastic group of players, ones that I would not mind seeing. Just like with F2L, I would not mind them seeing back-to-back champions, Like it would be very
Yeah.
it really goes to show the caliber like that there's such competition in pro that teams like can still like have consistency and whatnot, when with their success.
I'm actually not sure how many of the Hyper Horizon people qualified for Masters. I assume a few of them did. They're all insane players.
I'm pretty sure Liquidox did, and I'm pretty sure McBanterface and D Money did.
Oh, okay. I know that 4 out of the 5 Yashiraja's people for made Masters in
Say what
Nails.
now?
Nails, Kalis Luna, Neji, and I think Lumble all qualified.
Damn, through ladder?
No, Neji qualified by winning, getting 4 top 8s.
Oh, that's right. That's another way of doing it.
Yeah. Nails
Okay.
Nails qualified through ladder. Luna qualified through ladder. I'm pretty sure might have also as well.
Nails,
So.
Nails. Everybody knows qualified through ladder. That was like
Yeah,
pretty
this
well
is like
advertised.
this is like the Battle of Masters tour. Almost.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
It's and they're all really good players. Nails versus
Yep.
McBanterface. I believe we're getting that on stream on Sunday afternoon. And I don't think we're getting any of the other ones. And D Money and Valera already played.
What if I told you only 2 players from this Hyper Horizon team are going to be playing at Masters Tour Ironforge in 9
It's
days?
one of them Liquidox.
No,
No, I don't.
No!
Ox did not qualify.
nor did D Money. It was McBanterface.
It was
and Gamer
McBanterface. I figured McBanterface
Okay.
did.
I knew McBanterface was one of them, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets super high.
Yeah, he got through ladder. Gamer RPG got through a Masters Tour qualifier.
What the hell, Masters Tour?
Anyway,
Come on.
so, we have 6 out of 10 people, just like in that
Yeah.
first wild match of everyone's a winner versus hair club. We have 6 out of 10 people here who are going to play at the next Masters Tour, competing for big cash money. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty
Wild
stacked.
Master Store when? Please, Blizzard, help us. We need this
Wouldn't that
tournament
be
support.
cool? I don't even play Wild, and I'd be happy to see that.
That would be fun.
Yeah, this one is going to be very hype. I'm hoping, really, I'm just hoping it doesn't end up being a blowout. I want to see both these teams make playoffs. I think playoffs is going to be a very, like, this whole season has been very exciting to watch with so many pro teams. Like, more, obviously, we've had more teams than we've ever had before.
Yeah.
The most we've had previously was 12, and this season we had 22. That's nuts. So I'm very
Anyways,
excited to have an 18
JR.
for the playoffs.
Yeah.
What was that?
good for you that both these teams are making playoffs. And neat little transition here. Speaking of one other team that is definitely making playoffs,
Hey.
can move on to the unknown versus the boys, not just any boys, for the boys.
Yeah.
Here, looking to cap off their
Boy Diamond
regular
is what I'm
season.
trying to say.
Double
Going up
coach of the
against the
season.
unknown, who just like their counterpart in the pink conference over here in black, the unknown are 12 points back of the 4th place team. So in with an outside chance, but especially going up against For the Boys, it's not going to be easy. We're looking very much keeping in their minds of completing this undefeated season. They do have, I reached out to Super Chicken on them for any talk about it, and he informed me that unfortunately they did have to have a sub this week, the Risen Dead, coming in because their normal player was too busy dabbing on the haters.
That's right, dabs.
the way to go.
That's
snap.
right.
Or
Right.
better yet, dab.
Dabs.
But
yeah.
Risen Dead, of course, is from what I hear, a pretty good player himself.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're already locked up the #1 overall seed and you have nothing to play for the last week, is it a finish it for Pride Week, or is it everyone brings Beast Hunter Week? So no decks are in yet, so we're not sure.
Yeah,
Depending
we're
on
not
that
sure
answer,
yet.
the unknown might have pretty different odds of qualifying, but
Yeah.
everything they say, I think they really care about this undefeated season. They're all very motivated into it.
Nice.
Yep.
Exciting.
Then I
Also-
reached out to Ron Mexico as well, who actually hadn't, or he claimed he hadn't realized they were facing For the Boys this week. But when I informed him that they likely need a full sweep in order to qualify for playoffs, he said, "Sure, easiest sweep of our lives. You can bank on it. 23 points."
Hog. Love it.
So here's the thing that's also kind of insane that Diamond just reminded me in chat. This is kind of I didn't even realize this. If um if For the Boys beats the Unknown this week, all of Diamond's teams will have gone
Undefeated.
undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah, because he's the captain of Foolish Madmen. Didn't like.
Well, he also plays for them, but yes.
Oh yes, but he is their captain.
And of course,
No,
vote of
wait, is he the captain for Foolish Madmen?
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah, he's not the captain of Vote though. That's Sage. So all his teams that he played on, yeah, but he also captains too.
Plus the one he
For
captains.
some reason, I thought somebody else was the Foolish Madman captain. I'm blanking here. Ugh. Oh no, that's right. He is the captain. Right.
Yep.
Oh,
Diamond,
how about
Jimbo, Automated Button, me, and Darian.
Right.
For some reason, I thought somebody else was the captain, but that makes way more sense.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, I'm thinking Hero is where he's not the captain.
Yes,
That's where I got
he is
thrown off.
just the player on Vote of Some Confidence.
That's right.
With Mr. Boat himself as their captain.
Bodie Boat.
Yes.
Bodie McBoatface.
Bodie McBoat. All of them. All right, so we're gonna go to
if you don't get out of here.
Yep, we're gonna go to commercial break because guess what? We only have 3 more matches to talk about. So, Justin, give us your best Ron impression.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
going
Please do
to
that.
favorite section of the broadcast. Listen up. Thank you so much for tuning into Tavern Talk. If you are enjoying our show, make sure you check out Around the Saloon on Mondays and Ronnie Tuesday himself on Hearth Center on some day that you'll never guess of the week. Is that not enough content for you? Well, we stream THL matches each night from Thursday to Saturday, starting at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. All evening match schedules are to be determined by caster and player ability. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. But wait, that's not all. We also have incredible matches weekend afternoons on Schoolstone, precise times and dates subject to availability. Please consider subscribing to our channel. The subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs of operating our website and improve the quality of the streams and content to our viewers. And I see someone in the chat asking, what is Prime Gaming? Well, if you have Amazon Prime/Prime Gaming, you can sub to the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon, as well as the lovely THL chat badge and sub emotes. So hit that button, heart button, keep the notifications on, and make sure you catch our team broadcasting live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, please check out THL's other social media points of interest, which will be pasted in the chat. Website, Team Hearth Legends. Follow us on Twitter at THLHS. Join our Discord, Team Hearth Legends, and the THL PAL podcast, wherever podcasts are sold.
Were you possessed by a chipmunk during that?
I was muted when I
Ron
made that
does not
comment.
speak that quickly, sir.
No, Ron. Have you not heard Ron's breaks? They are
He got
very
possessed by
fast.
both Ron and a squirrel.
Yeah. I said off mic because I was muted that that Ron possessed him for that one. That was a really nice commercial break. Thank you very much, Mr. Justin. And we're gonna move on to Hero Series semifinals. And for this first match, I want to pick the match that 2 of our players here are going to let them both kind of talk about it. We're gonna go to Tonk versus Tampams.
Better.
So,
You thought McBanterface was just a pro player.
no. So
No.
I guess
Though that would be funny.
I guess I'll run down the matchups. We have Always Just in Time versus
Turtle, I did not copy your classes. Okay, maybe I did.
Okay, Always Just in Time versus Ducharmo in the 1. Ducharmo back at 550 PR. And we've got Turtle versus JR. We've got C-Mac versus Wash in the Wind. 9 Eyebrows versus Osmonaut. And Skirt Reynolds versus Clarity. And I think most of these matches are going to be on throughout the weekend, so that's very exciting. Tampam Slim JR, I was wrong. Congratulations to your team on making semis. Yeah, you two can
Thank you.
give your thoughts on the match. Obviously, each of you want your team.
Really, Diamond? Come on. 5-0 Tonk, come on. I'm slightly offended. You know what? If you're gonna vote for Tonk, Tonk is OP. Don't get me wrong, but we can win. I believe in us.
Yeah.
You can win, but do you want to win? If you
Yes.
win, then there's no honk emote in the server. Did you see the mock-up of that? It's
That's
a very...
not going
It's
away.
a,
Come on,
it's an
man.
amazing
No,
emote.
it's not there yet. It's only there if we win. It's a cute little turtle with like a minigun on his back. That will be in the server as an
I
emote.
do want that to be a thing. That is fair.
You're
No,
throwing free
I
emotes.
won't. I'm gonna give it my damnedest.
Yeah. This is
I
actually.
mean, look, don't get me wrong.
This match is actually really
we're aware of the
interesting.
fact that this is going to be an uphill battle, but we're also kind of at this point where, you know, we won 2 seasons ago when we were the underdogs,
Yeah.
and like we were definitely a strong team, but nobody expected us to do as well as we did. So to
Yeah.
come in and make it this far, I feel really happy. Regardless of what happens, I'm going to be very content with how my team has played this season. DeSharmo coming in as the 1 seed was absolutely fantastic. Clarity coming in on short notice to replace Mike V. Dude's killing it. Like, my team did so well last week that I didn't even need to play.
Yep.
That says it all in my eyes. So
it was one of the only matches where it was one of 2 matches, I believe, all weekend where some of the matches were not finished. The other one being being Legacy
our hero
semis.
match. My match with Draco Cat was the only hero playoff match that was not that did not happen.
Yes.
That was the only one. We were tempted, but I was busy and I didn't really think it was worthwhile. So, like I really wanted to play him, but just with everything else going on, I was like, all right, we'll make it a no contest, no big deal. So, I obviously now I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid Turtle like
No.
that, but I'm up for the challenge. I will just say exactly what Turtle and Tonk and the entire Tonk team said to me. Basically said when like I picked the same classes as him, because there's really no other way of putting this. The funny thing is, I knew this would happen, and I did it anyway.
Spider-Man, and
So-
insert the Spider-Man meme of him pointing
Insert
at
the Spider-Man
himself.
gif. Yep.
Yep, I have him.
Yeah, no,
I
had
wish
a
I had it. I
feeling
would put
that
it on the screen,
was-
but I don't.
I had a feeling I was going to end up picking the same classes that Turtle was bringing, because I had a feeling he was going to bring the same ones last week. But I went, whatever, fine.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who
Nice.
often tries to go for countering somebody's lineup through the classes they bring. I just like to bring classes that I like. So
What can we say? I mean, Turtle's obviously the best player in Hero, and you have the same classes, and that must mean you're as smart as Turtle.
I'm turtly enough for the
Confirmed.
Turtle Club at the very least.
Yes, yeah.
Your ID checks out. They let you in the front door.
All I
Okay,
can say is
anyway.
I'm just going to hope that despite the fact that he's 8-1, he doesn't utterly destroy me. That's all I ask for. Not to be
The other
utterly
thing you
destroyed.
brought up in chat is that Tonk, if you are corny, our PR right now, cumulative right now, is only 1889. So
Yeah.
that's barely over the 50 cap. If we were to, instead of winning the title this season, if we were to tactically int this week, then
Your
we
team
could
your
bring
team
back
could
our
actually
whole-
come back,
our
yeah.
next season and try to win the title
Tonk
then.
this week, right?
That plays right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to get since I figured that you two, I mean, unless you two want to objectively pick the matches, I mean I don't know how much Sunday doesn't know much about Tampans, but you did play against I played against
I didn't
Tonk.
play against either of these teams.
Okay,
for
I
my
played
2
against
week
Tonk
Yeah,
myself.
you guys played against
Um,
Tonk.
so
I mean, if I had to pick the matches, I would. For me, it's like the matches I'm going to pick to win are going to be DeSharmo, Osmonaut, and Clarity. I do think Wash can beat CMAC. I just think that it's going to depend on a bit of RNG going his way.
The
So
way
Yeah.
the wind is washing.
I'm not betting myself. I'm not betting myself to beat Turtle, because that's just not fair to him. He is 8-1 right now. For me to expect that I'm going to win is just going to be like,
Yeah.
it's just wrong.
Agreed.
I respect the Turtle with his guns and all.
Yes.
One thing I
I
do want to
had
say
a
on
confidence
stream.
in beating you because I can't beat you on ladder. THL.
All right.
One thing I want to bring up on stream before we move on, before we harp on this too long, but I think Reynolds is very underrated. He's 4-5, but don't let that fool you. 5 out of his 9 matches were against either Matty Ebbs or Darren this season. In the 5.
And he
Matty
beat
Ebbs
me.
went
That's fair.
And he beat me
6-2
twice.
this season, or 6-3 in the 2-3 in Legacy, and Darren is finished top 500 legend, and frankly could be competitive at the 2 seed and maybe even the 1 seed as well, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I think he might have a good claim to be like the 3rd best 5 seed in all of Legacy, or sorry, all of Hero. It's just that he faced the 2nd and 1st one for basically all his games this season.
Fair.
So
Fair.
maybe I'm believing in Skirt too much, but
I mean, he was definitely like the 3rd. He was definitely the 3rd best in Orange. To scope out to the entirety of Hero would be tough for me because I don't remember all the 5 seeds. But yeah, he's definitely one of the best. Probably one of, like, you could say maybe top 5 for sure. He played extremely well against me, and I definitely wouldn't consider
I'll be
myself a top
honest,
3
I
though.
only
Skirt got
really
way more points off this season than he had any right trying hoping he would do, given the quality of competition he did. I mean, even you, Fish, like you were carrying it up in Legacy.
Yeah,
Like, Orange
Hero's a different
Conference's
beast.
5 were just phenomenal.
Yeah,
very different.
And
but
Sunday, you came in at the end as well. Okay, not to
Anyways.
circle
I
jerk
came
too
in.
hard.
I mean, I only played out 2 matches, but I
you
did
did
pretty
really
good in
well.
them,
You took
so.
down Matty Ebbs and you took
Mhm.
down Saku.
I took down Matty Ebbs, and then I took down Saku. There's my
Yeah.
2 matches, and then yeah, I'll be playing in.
Beating Saku is often a rite of passage.
It was my 2nd match, so I had to my rite of passage was Matty Ebbs.
Hmm. So
Dude's
no.
good.
Anyway.
He's
Yeah,
very good.
He was very
I
good. That
will
was a good match.
quickly quote Heat Shock. Hurdle CMAC 9 win. Honk takes it 3. Because he said that last week about Agua. I will say that. I think
As
it's
long as
3-2.
CMAC keeps predicting I'm going to lose, but my team advances, I mean, thanks, Heat.
Yeah.
If he's keeping me right, I'll be happy.
Cool.
That works out. That still
Yeah.
works out.
So we're gonna move on to our next match. It's Dabunum versus F2L Black, a Teal Conference rematch. I believe Dabunum took both of the regular season matches, but this is playoffs, and this is F2L in the playoffs. However, most of these players on Dabunum also have playoff experience in some series, so it's kind of a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of classes have come in the past few minutes since the image
Nice.
was captured for stream.
Cool. I got this right
We have
before.
them for 3 out of 5 series, and it's a lot of the same icons. Everyone has brought Mage, Paladin, and Rogue, and then there's like 3 out of 6 brought Warrior, 2 out of 6 brought Warlock, and 1 out of 6 brought Priest. So it doesn't seem like much could be gained from that. I don't know. As a Mage gamer, I'd be very happy if my opponent isn't bringing Warrior, because that's, I mean, with the exception of Highlander, for the Mage decks that you're playing mostly on ladder of spell damage Mage, that's a pretty miserable matchup.
Yeah.
But obviously, one of the things about Mage right now is it has a lot of mediocre decks, but and nothing quite that great. But they all have different spreads, so it can still be tricky and difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mage is
Davenant,
pretty interesting right now.
impressive win over ATL last week, who were leading Orange Conference for most of the season. If you ask Ron Mexico and only Ron Mexico, given their late bye week.
I actually I just got an updated.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, the screen just blew up. I apologize. Will be fixed moment.
But yeah, based up against Itachi in the 1 will be, of course, something people talk about, and Booze as well, having quite a season for himself, moving up to the 2 the whole season. I feel like he's, at least the past few seasons, he's more been the 3 and 4. I had the pleasure of serving with him in Pro partially last season, and he wasn't quite having the performance that he was expecting of himself. He just overcommitted himself, was in too many series at one time, was trying to juggle all the balls, and they all kept dropping on him. So that this season he's been a little more focused on this, and it seems like it's been paying off, because he's certainly quite a good player when you can show that. And of course, you have the big match I'm interested in. Doing the wild player sometimes coming in with interesting ideas and standard, and then you have Hockey Boy's a standard player, but he also has very interesting ideas.
But he's also extremely under PR'd. So
yes.
Yeah, hockey's insane.
Hockey is just a staple of THL and all the things I really like. he's competitive, but he likes to do his own thing. He's very fun and upbeat and the type of person you want to associate with. And but he's also got the talent and skill to back it up. I mean, some people might laugh at him and go, he made it to America's playoffs one year and brought quad Mechathune decks. I respect the hell out of that. He decided
Oh
he
yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
do
yeah.
what he wanted. He wanted to bring what he wanted, and he did that.
Make some noise for Hockey Boys, indeed. Imagine
Yeah.
how he's 7-2 already. Imagine how many more wins he would have if Mechathune was still in standard,
Good question.
or was viable and wild.
or maybe a few less. He'd be baited into bringing it. But
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
anyways,
So all these
I-
matches, though,
I think I would favor Dab on them slightly in this series, but I don't know either of these teams too well. I don't think I've played too many of their players in Hero.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, it's F2L Black in playoffs. They're
Yeah.
certainly going to put.
yeah.
I favor.
I just think this is all like I can't think of a match that I feel confident is going to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Honestly, because like even like maybe maybe with each matchup, like with say like Rebobson versus Boozosaurus, I might slightly favor Rebobson, but even then, like it would be ever so slightly. Like
Yeah.
I think most of these matches are just pretty even overall.
Yeah. I favor based over Itachi. I don't favor any, but yeah, I think it's 50-50 Booze versus Rebobson. I favor Hockey Boys over Duin. I'd favor Astral over the Chronic and Rotted over Buse. So I think it comes down to the two. Obviously, order of play is gonna be different, but I would say that if those two play last, those two probably.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is going to come down to the 4 seed again because like it was Chronic versus Diamond
Yeah.
that settled the last series.
Sure. But I think if Based and Booze both win, then I think that Dab will just probably. With Ash, I guess that would make sense with Astral
who
winning.
knows? I don't know. All of this is just
Yeah,
this is
it's
really
all
close. It's
close.
hard.
For sure.
So
yeah, well, we'll see next week.
I think either way, we should get a bunch of these on stream because
a few of these are being
these are going to be
streamed.
some exciting matches.
I think a couple of these are being streamed. Maybe I'm not 100% sure. I have the matches that we'll be talking about at the end of this show. But we've covered Hero Series, we've covered Pro, we've covered Wild, and now it's time to look at the finals match that we have for Legacy Series. It all comes down to this: F2L Red versus Foolish Madmen. F2L Marty yesterday has said that F2L will win all 4 series, and it has to start here. And he gets to have a part in this one to see if they could take down the juggernaut that is Foolish Madmen.
Yeah, Mar just does a lot of things. I mean, we full swept them last time, which was very. I don't want to say surprising. That was definitely a bit of a high roll. They almost missed playoffs as a result of it. They had to get a result in the last week, which they did, and they've continued to win in the playoffs. It's almost been 4 must-win weeks they've had in a row, and they've won each one of them. So hey, guess we see you again.
Yeah.
Do I think we'll sweep them again? No, but we are all ready for a 7-week legacy regular season. We are already only 2 points off the most points ever scored in it, with 1 match to play. So just like everyone's a winner in Wild, we've been averaging better than a 4-1 each week. So I think I'd still have to back our team. I mean, variance can happen. It's only 1 week. It's only 5 matches. But I believe in us. We'll get it over the line.
This is going to be interesting just because neither of these teams have won in Legacy before,
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I mean, this team didn't exist.
Yeah, F2L Red has existed in some iterations, but I don't know how much of it had these players on it. Maybe only Rebobson, if that.
Well, Rabobson, remember, was part of the Zilfs for a while.
Yeah, I know. That's what
so-
I mean. He was on Zilfs for a
Yeah,
while.
he's played on F2L and other series, but this is the first time I think he was playing on the Legacy version.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
So, but I think, and I know Rabobson has made finals at least once or twice, but I don't think he has a championship under his belt. At least for Legacy.
Yeah, I don't.
I think the only player on this team that has won the Legacy Championship
Myanadon.
before is Myanadon, obviously, from last season.
Yeah.
And then in Foolish Madmen, nobody except for Diamond has won.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think Justin. You didn't. You came.
Yeah,
You were on.
Dorian and I,
You
forgot about
made
Diamond in that regard,
finals
I'd
of
be pretty
Heroes,
mad.
but didn't win.
Dorian and I have only been played in THL one
Yeah,
season before.
I know.
This, and
This is
Jimbo
your
never had.
second
Yes, but
season, and
you've
y'all have
already
been in
made such an
finals.
impression on us.
Yeah, you have made finals in 2
We're
different
2
series.
seasons, 2 finals, so
Congratulations.
hopefully we can close this one.
Yeah.
Last time I got swept by 2s in the finals. But,
Yeah.
hopefully not again.
It's so
Who's
weird.
the-
These matches all play out so interestingly. Like, it's going to be a very uphill battle for F2O Red, and I know that they are putting in lots of prep time. And like I just look across the board, and I think the only match that to me seems close, maybe seems a bit closer to a 50-50 would be Slad versus Diamond. I mean, Jimbo versus Rotted is probably also pretty close to a 50-50, but I just favor I favor Darian and I favor Button. I know Rabobson's having an insane season. So maybe Rabobson, you could give him the nod for F2L, if anything, and then Justin versus Myanadon. I mean, if Myanadon becomes Draxus as Ramp Paladin, that's good. But I think that I think Mad Men will title. It might be
so
close.
too. I think this would be the first time, at least one of the first times in recent memory, where a championship team was undefeated the whole way through. At least for Legacy.
Yeah, like I mean, this team is obviously a one-time team because their PR is what it's over.
Insane!
It's like
If we win this week, we'll
2,100
break
ish.
2200.
Yeah, it's like breaking 2,200. Yeah, that's
So the
Yeah.
we can't even like keep the core of the team. We just gotta blow the whole thing up.
essentially
The-
yeah.
The thing we were talking about today, to make it balanced, to put it under the PR cap, you'd either have to replace Darian or I with someone at min PR.
Yeah.
That's what it would take to make this team balanced. To take Darian out, someone who's currently on the leaderboard for qualifying for next Grandmaster, and replace him with with someone at 50 PR.
No, that is
it's a
true. That would
crazy-
work. Yeah, and you'd
uh,
have to Diamond play at that point. Which I mean,
Yeah.
not. I mean, he holds his own in the 4, so that would be fine.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a very, very exciting Legacy Finals. It's interesting. I mean, the teams who got there a lot. I mean, we had a couple people who had brackets putting them in the finals. F2L Red and Mad Men.
I believe that was
Both
Diamond's.
these teams were pretty
Yeah,
hyped up.
Diamond and I think Justin both had that. No, you had Flame Pimps in the.
Yeah, I had Flame Pit swing over.
Yeah, so
FL.
Justin got the brackets correct for the finalists. I think the only one he got wrong was ATL versus Meme Dream. That was it. He got all the other matches correct, so he wins the Legacy bracket section. And so congrats to Diamond. And yeah, I think we are going to wind down. We have been live for almost an hour and a half. Lots of good stuff
Long
to
time.
cover. We're just gonna move into our interview, our final section, where we like to ask our guest a few questions. I'm not gonna go through all the questions, but I will pick out some of these questions. So, from your captain, which is who's absolute, why do you play wild over? Why do you think people try wild? And
I
not
enjoy
just
higher power level. Oh, sorry. So yeah, but I enjoy a higher power level. I kind of got bored of standard. I used to play a lot of shaman and standard, and that kind of started getting bad. So I was kind of thinking like, oh yeah, I could just play in wild. There's a couple good variants. There's this even shaman deck that works. And then I also, well, I was gonna like quit Hearthstone, so I dusted my entire collection. I built an all golden Dead Man's Hand warrior, and I played that, and that was the only deck I played. Played it right into wild, but in general, I mean, I could have switched over. I could have undusted all of my golden Dead Man's Hand, but I enjoy that there's such a high power level. I enjoy the higher power level cards. There's a lot more neat interactions, different combos for one Dark Lair, which is a super degenerate deck, but it's very intricate in how it plays and how your turns have to play out. So I love that kind of aspect. And that's what I like about Wild the most is there's a lot of intricacies and power to it.
Yeah. And do you think a more aggressive revert policy from the Hearthstone team overall good for?
It depends really on what they choose to revert. There are some cards where I would not want to see them
No,
reverted.
no revert on
Um,
Naga Sea Witch, please.
I would, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I would not want to see Naga or Sea Witch reverted. I would not like to see Snip Snap reverted. I would not. There's a few
Oh,
things I don't want to see, but it's a lot of like the smaller changes. Like maybe if
yeah.
they change Luna's Pocket Galaxy to 6, does it become a competitive deck again in the meta? Like right now, it's
LPG
God below
best
tier 4.
deck.
But like, there's a lot of cases for okay, there's reverts they can make in order to make Wild a little more balanced.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think in general, I think it's a good thing, but it really depends on what they nail down to and choose as their reverts.
Um,
That's fair.
couple of questions that revert. That we have some playoff questions. We answered a few of them. I'll ask. I think is the most underrated player in the playoffs, and this was asked by one of your friends, but I was told not to reveal.
Not to
Um,
reveal. All right.
so I assume they want you to say them. Obviously, who do you like? If there's one player that you think is that's coming in under the radar,
Underrated in Wild Series.
yeah,
Oh, there's a lot of really good players.
like just in the
Um,
playoff.
well, I would. There's one per Quake Lord has had a good season, but I don't think I can call him a under the radar player
Yeah.
because of how good he is, and he ended top series or like top 10.
Mhm.
So I really can't say him. God, this is hard. Um, honestly, I am gonna pick Otters for this one. I
Oh,
think Otters is such a strong player, and like his 5-4 record does not denote how good of a player he is. He is insane,
yeah,
and it's gonna be a good match. I'm looking forward to
yeah.
facing him again.
All right, and that question was brought to you by Bone Masher.
Oh, Bone Masher. I think Bone Masher's insane too, but
Yeah, I'll throw that in just before I go.
he's 3-0 and Otters is 5-4 in the record.
Yeah,
He's doing good.
yep. And
Everyone's doing good.
if you could nerf any specific card for Wild as it is from what it is right now, what card would it be? That comes from Squash.
Oh god.
Burglar.
Okay. So I was gonna say Cabal Lackey, but
Oh,
Secret Mage has seen a big downturn in Conquest.
yeah.
I've seen it like
It gets
I was
destroyed.
helping. Yeah, it in THL alone, it gets destroyed. It is a fantastic ladder deck,
Oh
but
yeah,
in any conquest form, we saw this in a couple like not last grand tournament, but the one before that. When Absolute was playing the deck, he lost all of his matches on that deck alone.
yeah,
All of them. He won one game with the deck out of I think 14. And it's that kind of just started to show like, yeah, maybe this deck isn't that good into Conquest. So I would say Cabal Lackey, if it was a ladder based nerf, I think that card should get a nerf. Maybe make the secret cost 1 or make the mana cost 2. Because that card RFG on 1 in ladder is
oh
very
my gosh.
good. There's a lot of
I have played Cabal Lackey Secret and just people have to me.
you just win the game on
Yeah,
there. But in Conquest, that there's a lot more predictability. So that wouldn't
agreed.
be my nerf for
Hmm.
Conquest, but it's a ladder based nerf.
Yeah, gotcha. Because I watched Marty lose all his games. It was surprising. Like Marty is an insane player. He's a top 20 wild player every single week. He's probably our main wild content producer in THL. As well as just overall really good player. Um, I can see that. So yeah, I obviously we appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, yeah, good time.
We wish your team best of luck in the playoffs. Obviously, I mean your team is I it's gonna be a tough one this week, but if you get through it, I will say playoff. I will say finals bound. But
Oh, we will be.
yeah.
We will be finals bound. I assure
So
you.
obviously, you know, it's always great to have wild people from the wild community come on. It's just a great community from what I've been able to kind of see as I've been like getting more into it. So I obviously agreed with your point with I kind of enjoy the high power level of wild. It's really neat. I've been
It's
playing,
something different.
yeah,
Yeah,
because like I can play
I get the appeal of Wild. I just personally don't have the interest.
yeah. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of people who just don't have the interest. And that's you know that's everyone's personal preference. But I highly suggest, obviously, if you want to give it a try, give it a go. I mean, like even normal standard decks can do pretty well in certain parts of Wild. Obviously, as you get higher up the MMR ladder, you'll face people who have the insane decks, like Big Priest, and that deck is never fun to play.
There's some good decks though that you can build on
Yeah.
a pretty good budget. Like for one, Dark Glare Warlock,
Dark Glare, Odd Rogue, Odd
two of those.
Paladin,
All those decks. Yep.
Secret Mage. I have
There's a
all
lot
of those.
There's a lot of great picks, especially if you're just wondering, yeah, maybe I'll play a few games here, see how it is. There's so many different decks. There's a lot of variety that you could choose. And you can basically hit legend with anything. I mean,
Yeah.
Marty hit legend today, or I think today or yesterday with Reno Warrior. So
Yeah, I
mean,
saw that. I was like,
you,
I saw
you
really?
that
can hit
too.
you can hit legend with basically anything. I think since the first time I hit legend was in April, and every season except for last, which I wasn't really playing all that much ladder, I was kind of bored of it. But I've hit legend with a different deck every single time. I've not repeated decks. I've hit like Raza Priest, Discard Warlock, Dead Man's Hand Warrior, Bomb Warrior, or not, sorry, Odd Warrior. Like there's a lot of different choices you could choose to climb with and to
Yeah.
play, and a lot of them will work. So
All right. All right. So we're gonna go into our closing. I will run down some of the matches that we have for this weekend. Most of them actually. So tomorrow night gonna be Ron Mexico and Saku on Thursday Throwdown. Legacy Finals match 8 p.m. Eastern time. RDB versus Automated Button. So that will start off the F12 versus Foolish Mad Men series. And at 9 p.m. we will have Hero Series semifinals. Skirt Reynolds versus Clarity. That is Tonk versus Tampam Cersei. Friday.
That's when First Blood will be thrown.
Yes, that is First Blood in that match as well. Friday night fights. Myself, Dr. Fish, and Corridon will be your casters. Saku is our op. Got 9 p.m. Eastern Legacy Series Finals. The Rotted Zombie, Amperflight Gaming's newest member, Rotted Zombie, versus Jimbo. And that is obviously F2L for Rotted, and Jimbo is on Madmen. We have 10 p.m. Pro Series Pink Conference match. Flame Killer of ATK mode versus Ufric of Tap Watcher. So this is for Flame Killer's perfect.
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
All right. So before we have Salty Saturday, we will have School Stone Saturday potentially. I am not completely in the loop on that. In the spreadsheet that we have does not have any matches currently posted.
It's a work in progress right now.
Yes, and that is Wild School Stone. And that will have Marty B as your op very likely, and then there will be a rotating cast of various wild players who will be casting, and obviously the matches that. So if you want to get your Wild Series matches on stream, contact Marty B or contact Lotus Knight, and they'll try and get you. I know that Sunday is packed, so there might not be much room for School Stone.
Right.
Salty Saturday though.
I gotta correct you on the timing for this. For the record, for Salty Saturday. So Salty Saturday is happening, but I think that we have the times a bit mixed up in the
spreadsheet
on the show notes. I'm good. I'm confirming with Saku now, but what I think it should be happening is that just move back all of those times that we have by an hour.
Okay.
It should be 9 p.m. Eastern time is going to be myself against Turtle
Yeah.
from Tonk if you're corny. I think that's again. I'm pretty sure because that's what we agreed to, and I think because
Oh, sure.
the
If it,
10 p.m.
we go on
the
what you.
last match was supposed to be at 8, and they moved it back because they
Yeah,
couldn't do 8 o'clock.
yeah.
So
We go with what was agreed upon. So it's 9 p.m.
we'll make sure either way. But then
Yeah.
after that, it's at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be Myanodon versus Always Just in Time for the Legacy Finals, and also for the Legacy Finals at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be Slad versus Diamond.
Yeah, it's
So that's gonna be fun.
it's possible even after all these matches that won't be decided. And in which case we have Sunday afternoon, Sunday Schoolstone Legacy Finals, Bobson versus Darian versus Dardar Banks. So yeah, I mean if Legacy Finals is not decided by then, and even if it is, they can still have their match. And obviously, it would be really cool even just to have a show match of whatever sorts, because for them just to play one more match. 3 p.m. Eastern, so we have an hour break in between. We're gonna have McBanterface of Hype Horizon versus Nails of Yashiraj's Clown College, Pro Series Black Conference, and 4 p.m. Hero Series semifinals. 9 Eyebrows versus Osmonaut. 9 Eyebrows for Tonk and Osmonaut for Surf Slam. That is going to be myself and Lotus Knight as your casters. And then Sunday Showdown. Heroes of the matches are actually different. I will read them straight off of the spreadsheet because I forgot to update them. But I know we're gonna have we're gonna have 4 matches on Sunday night, so it's gonna be a doozy for the casters. Gonna be dollar bills in
we
my
got a
Anadon.
lot going on.
Yep. So as soon as
All the
I
matches.
get this.
We just need to figure out Sunday night's matches, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the doc right now. So, have the matches.
Oh no, we do have them.
Yeah,
So
we do.
first of all,
There's
we
4 of
have
'em.
Super Chicken versus Adair in Pro.
Yep.
That's going to be
For the boys versus the
for the
unknown.
boys versus the unknown. Same thing goes for the 9 p.m. match of German Chef versus Ron Mexico.
Yep.
Then we've got Always Just in Time versus Ducharmo for Hero Series. And assume, I guess that they're both going to be played either way, but assuming that I'm going to hope that
Not
at least
decided.
Ducharmo's match needs to be played, because then after that it is CMAC versus Wash in the Win. So every single Tampam versus Talk match is going to be on stream.
Yep. Every match. So that's great. We have Hero semifinals. We have a complete Hero Series semifinals being played on stream, and every single Legacy Finals match has been booked on a
Which is the tradition. We try to
yes,
have every
we
single
try
finals
that.
match on stream.
Agreed. I like that. Because I'm obviously relatively new, as this is also my second. So that is a good tradition to have. Right. So that is gonna
I think that does it.
Yeah, it does it for the. JR, why don't you close?
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We got a nice group of people here watching us. I think we're next. So next week we will be talking about the Hero Series finals. We'll be talking about the Wild semifinals and the Pro playoffs. And even though Heart Center will be doing their proper Legacy championship show, I'm sure we'll have a bit of a discussion on
Yeah.
the overall season. So please tune in. If you have
Yeah.
if you want to, please subscribe to our Twitch channel. If you have Twitch Prime, you can of course subscribe for free, as we talked about before. And continue to watch all of our shows. As we've said, we basically have content going on every day of the week, so there's
Yeah.
always something for you to enjoy. But
no, go
what were you
ahead.
gonna say?
I was gonna say, I think for next week, just similar to what Heart Center did, I will try to have one or both of captains, one or both of the captains for Heroes
like that
finals
plan.
on the show, if possible, of course. I know if F2L makes it, that Rabobson, he's at 2 a.m. when this starts, and he was on Tavern, he was on Heart Center last week. We'll see if it can be possible to get at least one of them.
It shall be tried.
Yes, because Legacy Heart Center will probably have the Legacy champions on. at least the captain. So
Yeah. No, they're probably going to try to get everybody on.
yeah.
And also before we go, Sunday, thank you so much for being our guest tonight. It was a pleasure to have somebody,
Thank you.
somebody very friendly, approachable, and also happens to know more about Wild than any of us here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Awesome.
And for all of you guys, we hope you all stay safe. We hope you all have a fantastic rest of the week and a wonderful weekend. And we hope you will continue to watch our content and come back here next Wednesday for another fantastic episode of Tavern Talk. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
See ya.